House Velaryon stands as one of the most powerful families in Westerosi history. Their bloodlines so intertwined with the Targaryens that the silver hair they share is nearly indistinguishable between the two houses. Originally from Old Valyria, like their dragon-riding cousins, the Velaryons were not Dragonlords themselves, but rather maritime lords who commanded the seas with unmatched naval prowess. When Aenar Targaryen fled the doom of Valyria and settled on Dragonstone, the Velaryons had already established themselves on the nearby island of Driftmark, creating a natural alliance between the two Valyrian families that would endure for centuries. The Velaryons' Targaryen blood comes from countless intermarriages across generations, beginning long before Aegon's conquest. This strategic alliance was cemented time and again through marriage pacts that bound the two houses together in blood and ambition. Lord Corlys Velaryon, known as the Sea Snake, became the wealthiest man in Westeros through his 9 great voyages, and his marriage to Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was, brought even more Targaryen blood into House Velaryon. Their children, Laena and Laenor, both married Targaryens, with Laenor wedding Princess Rhaenyra, making the Velaryon children of this union directly in line for the Iron Throne. During the Dance of the Dragons, House Velaryon's support proved crucial to Rhaenyra's claim, with their vast fleet controlling the seas around King's Landing. However, the civil war devastated both houses, with Velaryon blood spilled alongside Targaryen in one of the most destructive conflicts Westeros had ever seen. The Velaryons continued to intermarry with the Targaryens throughout the dynasty, with several Velaryon women becoming queens and their sons inheriting the throne. By the time of Robert's Rebellion, House Velaryon had declined significantly in power, but their ancient Velaryon heritage and their blood ties to the Targaryens remained undeniable. The silver-gold hair, purple eyes, and features that marked them as descendants of old Valyria served as a constant reminder that Velaryon blood was among the purest Valyrian lineages still existing in Westeros, second only to the Targaryens themselves. House Baratheon's claim to Targaryen blood is both their greatest strength and their most bitter irony, for it was this very connection that gave Robert Baratheon a veneer of legitimacy when he overthrew the dynasty he was descended from. The founder of House Baratheon was Orys Baratheon, rumored to be the bastard half-brother of Aegon the Conqueror himself, making him the child of Aerion Targaryen, Aegon's father. Whether this rumor was true or merely a convenient political fiction, Aegon treated Orys as a brother, making him his greatest general and champion during the conquest. Orys slew Argilac, the Arrogant, the last Storm King, in single combat, and claimed his lands, his castle, his daughter, and even his sigil and words as prizes of war. Thus, House Baratheon was born, founded by a man of Targaryen blood ruling over Storm's End. But the Targaryen connection didn't end with Orys. Throughout the nearly 3 centuries of Targaryen rule, the Baratheons frequently intermarried with their royal cousins, with Baratheon daughters becoming Targaryen queens and Targaryen princesses marrying into House Baratheon. The most significant of these unions came when Rhael Targaryen, daughter of King Aegon V, married Lord Lionel Baratheon, producing Steffon Baratheon, who would father Robert, Stannis, and Renly. This made Robert Baratheon's grandmother a Targaryen princess, giving him the closest blood claim to the Iron Throne of anyone outside the immediate Targaryen family. When Robert led his rebellion, this heritage provided crucial legitimacy to his claim, allowing propagandists to argue that he wasn't merely a usurper, but rather a man with royal blood reclaiming a throne from a mad king. The irony, of course, is that Robert despised everything Targaryen, his hatred for Rhaegar driving his every action during and after the rebellion. Yet it was his Targaryen blood that seated him on the Iron Throne, and it was his failure to produce true heirs that eventually led to the revelation that Cersei's children had no Baratheon blood whatsoever, let alone the Targaryen heritage that had legitimized the dynasty. The Baratheon words, "Ours is the fury," took on new meaning when one considered that Targaryen fury and Baratheon strength flowed together in their veins, creating some of the most formidable warriors Westeros had ever seen. House Blackfyre represents perhaps the most dangerous consequence of Targaryen blood outside the main line, a cautionary tale of legitimization, ambition, and civil war that nearly tore the Seven Kingdoms apart. The house was founded by Daemon Blackfyre, born Daemon Waters, the bastard son of King Aegon IV, and his cousin Daena Targaryen, called Daena the Defiant. Daemon possessed the silver hair, purple eyes, and martial prowess of the Targaryens in abundance, becoming one of the greatest warriors of his age and winning the love of nobles and small folk alike. Aegon IV, in his deathbed spite against his legitimate son Daeron, legitimized all his bastards, including Daemon, and had given him the Targaryen ancestral sword Blackfyre years earlier, a symbolic gesture that many interpreted as recognizing Daemon as his true heir. Taking the sword's name for his new house and adopting a reversed Targaryen sigil, a black dragon on a red field, Daemon Blackfyre gathered supporters who believed him more worthy than the bookish Daeron II. The resulting conflict, the First Blackfyre Rebellion, divided the realm along lines of regional interest, personal loyalty, and differing visions of kingship. The Blackfyres possessed as much Targaryen blood as the mainline, perhaps more in some regards, as Daemon's mother Daena was herself a Targaryen. This made the conflict a true war of dragons against dragons, with both sides able to claim pure Valyrian descent. The Blackfyres spawned 4 more rebellions over the following decades, each one fueled by the belief that the Blackfyre line represented the true Targaryen succession. The male line of House Blackfyre ended with Meleys the Monstrous during the War of the Ninepenny Kings, but their blood continued through female lines and cadet branches. The Blackfyre rebellions demonstrated the fundamental instability of any system that produced multiple claimants with equal or near-equal blood claims to absolute power. Every Blackfyre pretender could point to their Targaryen blood as justification for their claim, and every rebellion attracted lords who saw opportunity in backing the challenger. The Golden Company, founded by Blackfyre supporters, remained a powerful force in Essos, their tradition of seating a Blackfyre on the Iron Throne persisting long after the last Blackfyre male had died. The legacy of House Blackfyre served as a reminder that Targaryen blood could be as much a curse as a blessing, inspiring ambition and conflict rather than unity. House Martell's Targaryen blood flows from a very different source than most other houses, coming not from ancient Valyrian tradition, but from political necessity and the integration of Dorne into the Seven Kingdoms. For nearly 2 centuries after Aegon's conquest, Dorne remained independent, having successfully resisted Targaryen dragons through guerrilla warfare and the harsh desert terrain. The Targaryens lost dragons and countless soldiers trying to conquer Dorne, achieving nothing but stalemate and mutual exhaustion. The union of the 2 houses came not through conquest, but through diplomacy and marriage. Daeron II, seeking to end the costly conflict with Dorne, arranged a double marriage pact. He married Martell himself, and his sister Daenerys married the ruling prince of Dorne, Martell. These marriages brought Dorne peacefully into the Seven Kingdoms and infused House Martell with potent Targaryen blood. From that point forward, Martell princes and princesses frequently married Targaryens, creating a web of blood ties that made the Martells among the most Targaryen-connected houses in Westeros. The most famous of these unions came generations later when Prince Rhaegar Targaryen married Elia Martell, a match that should have cemented the Targaryen-Martell alliance for another generation. Elia bore Rhaegar 2 children, Rhaenys and Aegon, making these children 3/4 Targaryen by blood. The brutal murder of Elia and her children during the sack of King's Landing created a blood debt that House Martell never forgot, their desire for vengeance against the Lannisters becoming a defining characteristic of their political stance. By the time of the main series, House Martell carries substantial Targaryen blood through centuries of intermarriage. Doran Martell's children, including the fierce Arianne and the vengeful Oberyn's daughters, all carry this heritage. The Martells' traditional Rhoynar customs of equal inheritance regardless of gender aligned well with occasional Targaryen practice, making these marriages more harmonious than they might otherwise have been. The Martells remember their Targaryen kin and the atrocities committed against them, positioning themselves as potential supporters of any Targaryen restoration, their loyalty bound by blood spilled and blood shared. House Plumm represents one of the more unusual and disputed claims to Targaryen blood, their connection coming through a peculiar combination of legitimized bastardry and possible royal indiscretion. The house traces its Targaryen lineage to Viserys Plumm, allegedly the bastard son of Princess Aelena Targaryen, daughter of King Aegon III. Aelena was known for her intelligence, beauty, and unconventional personal life, having taken multiple lovers and possibly bearing children by different fathers during her various marriages and affairs. The truth of Viserys Plumm's parentage remains debated by maesters and lords alike, but House Plumm has maintained their claim to dragon blood for generations. Whether the claim is accurate or merely a useful fiction that has been repeated so often it became accepted truth, the Plumms have used their supposed Targaryen heritage to elevate their standing among the nobility. Their seat in the Western Riverlands gave them strategic importance during various conflicts, and their alleged dragon blood made them more prestigious marriage prospects than their actual power might warrant. The most notable recent member of House Plumm is Brown Ben Plumm, a sellsword captain in Essos who claims descent from the main line through both legitimate and illegitimate connections. Ben Plumm's knowledge of his genealogy borders on the obsessive, able to trace his lineage through multiple branches back to Aelena Targaryen, and possibly to other Targaryen connections as well. His ability to approach Daenerys' dragons without being burned suggests that perhaps there is truth to his claims of dragon blood, as the Targaryens themselves believed that their Valyrian heritage gave them an affinity with dragons that others lacked. House Plumm's story illustrates how Targaryen blood became a form of currency in Westerosi politics, a claim that could open doors and create opportunities regardless of one's actual power or wealth. Even a disputed, diluted connection to the Dragon Kings carried weight, transforming minor houses into families of note. The Plumms exemplify how the Targaryen legacy spread throughout Westeros, not just through official marriages, but through the countless bastards, affairs, and uncertain paternities that marked 3 centuries of dynastic rule. House Penrose's connection to House Targaryen is less prominent than some others, but no less legitimate. Their dragon blood flowing from strategic marriages between Targaryen princesses and Penrose lords over the generations. Seated at parchments in the Stormlands, House Penrose held significant influence in the region, making them attractive marriage partners for Targaryen daughters who needed to be matched with powerful vassals to maintain political stability. The exact genealogies connecting the Penroses to the Targaryens have been somewhat obscured by time, and the general lack of detailed records kept during certain periods of Targaryen rule. However, it is known that at least 2 Targaryen princesses married into House Penrose during the dynasty's reign, bringing their silver-haired children into the Penrose line. These marriages were typical of the Targaryen strategy of binding powerful regional houses to the Iron Throne through blood, creating a network of relatives who had a vested interest in supporting Targaryen rule. Sir Courtenay Penrose, the Castellan of Storm's End during the War of the Five Kings, exemplified the honor and courage that his house maintained despite their relatively modest status. His defiance of Stannis Baratheon in defense of Edric Storm showed the Penrose commitment to protecting those under their care, a quality that might be traced to the Targaryen blood in their veins and the traditions of loyalty it inspired. Though Sir Courtenay's mysterious death prevented him from continuing his resistance, his stand demonstrated that even houses with diluted Targaryen connections maintained pride in their heritage. The Penrose example shows how Targaryen blood spread through the nobility of Westeros in ways both obvious and subtle. Not every house with dragon blood became great or powerful, but the connection remained significant, a mark of distinction that elevated even middling houses above those without such prestigious ancestry. For House Penrose, their Targaryen blood was one thread in the complex tapestry of their identity, less defining than for houses like Baratheon or Velaryon, but still a source of pride and historical significance. House Hightower of Oldtown represents one of the oldest, wealthiest, and most powerful houses in Westeros. Their ancient lineage and immense resources, making them natural marriage partners for the Targaryens throughout the dynasty's history. The Hightowers ruled Oldtown, the largest and most sophisticated city in Westeros, from their massive tower that served as both fortress and lighthouse. Their connection to the Citadel and the faith of the Seven gave them influence that extended far beyond military might, making alliances with them politically essential for the Targaryen kings. The Hightowers' first direct infusion of Targaryen blood came very early in the dynasty, when Garmund Hightower married Rhaena Targaryen, the daughter of Prince Daemon Targaryen and Lady Laena Velaryon. Rhaena was one of the earliest Targaryen princesses to wed outside the immediate Valyrian bloodline, and her marriage to Garmund marked a deliberate political shift, binding the Dragonlords to one of Westeros' most ancient and influential non-Valyrian houses. Through Rhaena, House Hightower received true Targaryen blood, not merely alliance by marriage, establishing a precedent that would echo through centuries of dynastic politics. The most significant Targaryen Hightower connection came later, during the height of the dynasty, when King Viserys I married Alicent Hightower, daughter of his hand, Otto Hightower. This marriage, controversial because it passed over Viserys' cousin Laena Velaryon, produced 4 children: Aegon, Helena, Aemond, and Daeron. These children represented a fusion of ancient Westerosi nobility with Valyrian dragon blood, and their existence created a succession crisis that erupted into the Dance of the Dragons. The war between Alicent's children and Viserys' daughter Rhaenyra from his first marriage devastated both dragons and humans, but it also spread Targaryen blood deeply into House Hightower and their descendants. Following the dance, House Hightower remained closely connected to the Targaryens, with multiple marriages reinforcing the bond between the two houses. Hightower women married Targaryen princes, and Hightower men occasionally married into cadet branches of the Dragon dynasty. The Hightowers' wealth and influence made them invaluable allies, and their Targaryen blood gave them a stake in the dynasty's continuation. Unlike some houses that simply received Targaryen brides, the Hightowers contributed significantly to the Targaryen bloodline, with several kings having Hightower mothers or grandmothers. By the time of Robert's Rebellion, House Hightower's Targaryen connections had faded somewhat, but centuries of intermarriage meant that Hightower blood flowed in Targaryen veins just as surely as Targaryen blood flowed in Hightower lineages. Their influence over the faith and the Citadel, combined with their ancient prestige and immense wealth, made them one of the great powers of the Reach, second only to House Tyrell in regional importance. Their Targaryen heritage added another layer to their complex identity, marking them as a house that had helped shape the ruling dynasty from its earliest days, even as they preserved their own distinct traditions, rooted in the deep, pre-conquest history of Oldtown. House Longwaters represents the humblest and most recent addition to the list of houses carrying Targaryen blood. Their very existence, a testament to how dragon blood could elevate even bastard lines into recognized nobility. The house was founded by a legitimized bastard, descended from King Aegon IV's numerous indiscretions, part of the chaos that followed Aegon's deathbed decision to legitimize all his natural children. Unlike House Blackfyre, which posed a direct threat to the throne, House Longwaters remained loyal to the ruling branch of House Targaryen, content with their modest holdings and minor noble status. Seated in King's Landing with little land or wealth, House Longwaters exemplifies how far Targaryen blood had spread throughout the realm by the end of the dynasty. Their existence demonstrates that not all Targaryen bastards became great lords or rebel leaders. Some simply accepted legitimization and the minor benefits it brought, grateful for recognition without seeking to overturn the established order. The Longwaters served in various minor positions in the capital, their Targaryen blood giving them just enough prestige to secure appointments that might otherwise have gone to more powerful houses. Sir Rolly Duckfield, called Duck, serves as a knight in exile with supposed connections to House Longwaters, his story illustrating how even the most diluted Targaryen blood could matter in certain contexts. The Longwaters and their relatives represent the final dispersal of dragon blood throughout Westeros, the endpoint of 3 centuries of legitimizations, marriages, affairs, and the general spreading of Valyrian features throughout the population of King's Landing and beyond. House Longwaters may lack the power of the Baratheons, the prestige of the Velaryons, or the wealth of the Hightowers, but their story is equally important in understanding the Targaryen legacy. They show that dragon blood became almost commonplace in certain circles, that the Targaryens' practice of legitimizing bastards and making strategic marriages had created a web of blood relationships so complex that dozens of houses could claim some connection to the dynasty. For House Longwaters, their Targaryen heritage was both a point of pride and a simple fact of their existence, neither defining them entirely nor completely irrelevant to their identity. These 8 houses represent different aspects of how Targaryen blood spread throughout Westeros and beyond, from the ancient Valyrian heritage of House Velaryon to the recent and humble origins of House Longwaters. Some gained their dragon blood through prestigious marriages that united great houses, while others descended from bastards, legitimized by careless or calculating kings. Some used their Targaryen heritage to launch rebellions and challenge for the throne, while others remained quietly loyal, content with the minor advantages their bloodline provided. The Targaryen dynasty's practice of strategic marriages, legitimization of bastards, and general proliferation of their bloodline created a complicated web of relationships that shaped Westerosi politics for 3 centuries and beyond. Every house with Targaryen blood could claim some connection to the throne, some right to recognition and respect based on their shared ancestry with the Dragon Kings. This dispersal of royal blood throughout the nobility both strengthened and weakened the Targaryen position, creating loyal relatives and potential rivals in equal measure. From the seas commanded by the Velaryons to the storms weathered by the Baratheons, from the rebellions launched by the Blackfyres to the deserts ruled by the Martells, from the disputed claims of the Plumms to the honor of the Penroses, from the ancient towers of the Hightowers to the modest holdings of the Longwaters, Targaryen blood marked houses great and small across the 7 kingdoms. Each carried forward the legacy of old Valyria in their own way, ensuring that even after the fall of the dragons, the blood of the dragon would endure in the veins of Westeros' nobility for generations to come.